Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to be joined by our guest here, Amy Hunt, again, talking about lifestyle medicine, right? Part one, we're focusing on weight loss and jump-starting our New Year's weight loss journey. So really excited to have her back here to talk more about this and, of course, talk more about her company and all she's doing. So first and foremost, from Simply Bliss Med Spa, please welcome Amy Hunt. How are you?
I'm good. And I have Missy Ritonya with me today, and she's my nurse practitioner who does all the prescribing. So she's who's going to be talking mostly today.
Perfect. Welcome back,
So
ladies.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. We're glad to be here.
Well, just a
Merry
quick
Christmas.
overview. Simply Bliss Med Spa is based out of Omaha, Nebraska. And Miss your Amy, just give us a little overview about some of the wellness that you provide. And then we're going to definitely focus on that weight loss. But overall, you're doing a lot there, both of you.
Correct. So of course, Med Spa, we do injectables, lasers, skin treatments, microneedling. We sell medical grade skincare. And then on the other side of the house, we do
weight loss. That's kind of our big thing right now, especially going into the new year, but we also do hormone management, thyroid management. We dig in a little bit more into lifestyle medicine to look at adrenal fatigue. We have peptides that we can use for pretty much everything. So growth hormone releasing peptides, we have peptides for healing, we have peptides that help with neuroplasticity, neurocognition. What else do we do? GLPs for weight loss. We have a whole bunch of medicines in our arsenal for weight loss.
And then the hormones, which are a big deal too. So those two go together. Weight loss and hormones, 9 times out of 10 go together.
Oh my goodness. All right. This is exciting because I know a lot of our, listeners were thinking about New Year's already. Yes, Christmas, Hanukkah is all here, but New Year's is on the mind too. And this is important because a lot of us do talk about weight loss goals. And what would you say are some of the most common misconceptions that people do have about weight loss?
Yes. So the most common misconception that I have for weight loss when people come in is that they're looking for a magic pill. And unfortunately, there is no magic pill. And so I always tell all of our patients when they come in that, weight loss is hard and it takes time and nothing's going to happen overnight. And unfortunately, it's going to come down to diet, exercise, and lifestyle changes are the number one things that are going to help you get to your weight loss goals. And then we use weight loss medicine as a tool to help get you there. And so I always tell every single one of my patients that come in that there is nothing magic about weight loss. You actually have to put the time and the effort into it. And changes have to be made because if we don't make those changes, then you're going to end up staying right where you are. So I would say that's kind of the biggest misconception that we see.
Right. Not an overnight matter. And if you don't change what you're doing outside of whatever we can medically assist you with, you might lose it, but you'll have it right back.
Yeah.
So it's really about changing.
It's not going to be sustained weight loss that you get.
So just to confirm, medication alone is really not enough. As you're saying, it should be done in conjunction with the stuff from, eating better, differently, diet, that's the word. And of course, the motion, the exercise, that you need to get some of that.
Yep, you have to move. Yes, there's no medication out there that can undo an unhealthy diet or lifestyle, unfortunately.
I know. Well, let's talk about how can you set some realistic and sustainable weight loss goals for the new year? Where would you start there?
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the things when patients come in for our weight loss consultation that we sit down and talk about is realistic expectations, realistic goals. And so you start going through what are your normal routines, your normal patterns of eating. And the biggest thing is, people come in and they're like, I want to be on a medication to help with cravings, to help with appetite suppression. And so we go through all of the things. And like I mentioned earlier, there's no medications that can undo unhealthy patterns of behavior. So we have to start looking at what are you doing right now and what are the things that we can make simple changes to it. Doesn't have to be crazy changes, but little changes lead to big outcomes down the road. And so we sit down and look at, okay, what are we doing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? If you are somebody who, you're on the go all the time and you feel like you're eating out for most of those meals, where are you eating out at? And what can we do to make healthier choices? Or can we start meal prepping ahead of time? So, and meal prepping can be something as simple as whatever you make for dinner, make enough that you can bring it to lunch, because the biggest thing that people run into is they get into a bind and lunchtime comes and they don't have anything to eat. And so they find themselves running to the nearest fast food restaurant
Yeah.
or
Convenience store.
convenience,
Guilty.
eating whatever it is. And so breaking those patterns of behavior is the very first thing that we want to come up with. What are those little changes that we can do? Other thing is skipping breakfast. You cannot skip breakfast. Breakfast by far is the most
Guilty.
important meal of the day, right? And so
My whole life, I don't eat breakfast. It slows me down. I have stomach issues, so maybe I'm an exception. I cannot eat breakfast, or else I'm in pain, bloated, gassy all day. So it's just something my body's been accustomed to. But I know they say that for most people, but I'm one of the rarities. But I try to instill this in my children, and they eat breakfast, and they don't have belly issues. But
yeah,
yeah.
well, breakfast is the fuel. So it's like trying to drive a car on empty. So if you don't have fuel in there, you're only going to get so far, but it also slows down metabolism. And so our bodies have a natural circadian rhythm that you can't undo. It's unfortunately, that's just how we're made, and you have to wake up and fuel that. And so you have to eat to get that fire burning. If you don't, those are the things that are going to slow down your metabolism. And so you want your two biggest meals of the day to be breakfast and lunch, followed by a smaller dinner, because as dinner comes, that's when our body's starting to go into that rest and repair phase. And so most people are doing it opposite, to where they wake up, get breakfast, eat a minimal lunch, and then when you come home, you're starving and you eat everything in sight. And so the most of your calories consumed are at the end of the day, but what happens is your body's not ready to burn those calories. It's ready to go into that storing phase. So you're going to store everything that you eat instead of having that ability to burn it throughout the day, which is going to increase your basal metabolic rate. So those are the things that we really start kind of working on with patients when we come into looking at what are the small changes that we can do to help you meet those weight loss goals and sustain those weight loss goals. And then the other thing is moving activity. Most people, they'll come in and say they don't have time to work out because their days are so busy. And workouts don't have to be something that you have to go to the gym and stay there for 45 minutes or an hour of the day. It's something as simple as just taking a 10-minute walk every day. Walking is the most underrated form of exercise, and it is the best thing that people can do to get your heart rate up. Exercise doesn't have to be where you're sweating, you can't breathe, you're about to die. It's just something simple to get that heart rate up for a minimum amount of time, but you want to do something every day. And so those are kind of those goals that we try to set for people to come in, make them realistic.
And just help me out here. We were talking about eating late at night. I know that's not good for us. What happens at night when we go to bed? It's stored as what the sugars turn into fat.
Everything's stored as body fat, yes. And so there's actually studies out there that sumo wrestlers, in order to get them to gain weight, they do overnight feedings with them, because that is how your body stores it. It stores it as we need this to save and preserve. And so you're not going to end up burning it. So unfortunately, people who work night shifts, that's the hardest thing, is because your body, even though you're working night shift, you've tried to alter that circadian rhythm, your body doesn't. It's naturally there. And so that is a really hard thing that we struggle with people who have those unfortunate overnight shifts, is you find your body not wanting to shed the weight.
Wow. All right. Well, let's talk about.
Good question.
Thank you, guys. I was thinking about it because I know, but I'm guilty of that a lot of times, doing that late night dinner and then it doesn't sit right. And I'm telling you, I could feel my body gaining weight the next day, ladies. I don't know if you can.
100%.
You notice it. You feel it, and you're lethargic, and Okay, thank you for the nice
Tired,
reminder.
yes. And that's the other thing, like back to intermittent fasting. I have a lot of ladies who come in and they're like, oh, I don't eat until 1 o'clock. I do intermittent fasting for 18 hours a day. I try to eat all of my calories in a 2 to 4 hour window. And that's the worst thing that you can do. Intermittent fasting is great, but it's used in the worst way. And what it ends up doing is slowing down that metabolism. And so if we're going to do intermittent fasting, you want your last meal of the day to be dinner and not eat
Early
from,
dinner.
let's say, 7 p.m. until
Yeah.
the next morning when you break your fast. That's why they call it breakfast. You're breaking your fast.
Right.
You're getting your intermittent fasting in. It gives your body time to go in that like non-fed air time frame where it goes in and cleans up all of the cells that need to be cleaned up. It's very helpful. But you have to do it in the right way, because if you do it too long, then you're going to spike cortisol, and cortisol leads to belly fat and increased sugar. So yeah,
All right.
it's definitely
Awesome.
good. And that's what we're here for, to help people manage those things and do it in the right way so they get the best outcomes.
All right. Well, let's talk about some tips to jumpstart our journey.
Yes. So the biggest tips are, thinking about your goals, so your weight loss goals, and making sure you're ready, because like I said, it's a change that you have to be 100% on board. When you come in to see us, we have medications that we use as tools to help get you to those weight loss goals, but you have to be committed and willing to put in the work. And so when I say committed and willing to put in the work, you have to be okay with changing those bad eating habits, the things that you're eating, and willing to take advice from us to help us guide you into, okay, what can we change to choose healthier patterns of behavior? And working out is the biggest thing, getting moving. And so, tips are making sure you're on the right track, that you are ready to make those commitments, because we have people come in here and they say, yes, I'm ready to do it. They pay the money, but we don't see results, or results are very minimum. And then they're upset because they're paying a lot of money to have minimal results. And they're like, well, I could have lost 3 pounds on my own, and I just spent $700 and I'm not seeing results. But then when you really dig into it, they're not eating appropriately, they're not working out, they're not sleeping. And so all of those things have to be taken into consideration to give you the best outcomes.
And then with the professional weight loss program, you're, giving, some accountability factor here, even though they're accountable too, right? So tell me about, going with someone like you and doing this, Missy and Amy, about the weight loss programs, and how does that help someone, with these regular check-ins?
Yeah. So what makes a medical managed weight loss program so important is that you have accountability to check in with somebody, and you have people to help guide you in the right directions. So we use a lot of the GLP-1 medications, which are the ones that are kind of out in social media right now, the weight loss injections, semaglutide and tirzepatide. And you can get a lot of those online through just calling up a number, talking to people. They'll ship them to your house. I get a lot of those patients who start in that direction and they don't see the outcomes that they're looking for, because they don't get the extra support that we offer to them to help them actually get the outcomes that they need. And so part of that medical management is we weigh you every 4 weeks. We're tracking not only fat loss, but we're tracking skeletal muscle mass. We're making sure that you're getting enough protein. We're making sure that you're exercising, and you have that accountability because you have to check in with us. And the other thing is, are you taking the right dose of the medication? Are we seeing the outcomes that we want to? Sometimes you are taking too much and we start to see muscle mass that is getting depleted because you're not eating enough protein. And so that's where we come in and we make sure that the whole program is working how it's supposed to help you healthily get to those weight loss goals.
And long-term success. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well, obviously, because it is about making these lifestyle changes in a sense and helping you achieve that long-term goal. So we want to get to some advice about that too, because sometimes we struggle with motivation and keeping consistent, right?
Yes, 100%. So long-term goals are, truly what we're looking for. We don't want to just help you get there and then immediately stop the medication, and then you go back to your, let's say, your normal patterns of behavior, 100% all of that weight that you lost is going to come back. And so the lifestyle goal, like lifestyle changes are key, and you have to be able to stick with them. We use the medications to slowly maintain weight loss. Once you hit that weight loss goal, you truly need to maintain that weight for a good sometimes 6 to 9 months, sometimes to a year, to get that hypothalamus to reset, because your body has been at that previous weight for so long. That's where it's comfortable, and it's going to want to slowly creep back up to where it was previously. And we have to use things like medications, healthy eating patterns, and workouts to make your body stay there, so that way it can reset and say, hey, okay, I'm happy here, and this is where I'm going to stay.
Did you want to comment? Anything else?
No,
I
think, teaching people like things, teaching people to meal prep, asking them when they come in, what kind of support do you have at home?
Yeah.
You'll have someone come in, and then it's like the husband and the kids aren't supporting, and they're still eating McDonald's, and and she has to do 2 different shopping lists. And it's like, so those are things that help us to key in on what kind of support do you have at home. Maybe you have a weight loss buddy. So our special in January is going to be bring a friend, have a weight loss buddy, and we're going to give them their first month free.
Oh, that's awesome.
Accountability is huge.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
being on the same page. You can't live in the house with somebody who's coming home with fast food and eating
Yeah.
ice cream every night. And so
I also want to add, I think it's important for us to do our meal prep ahead of time, like the night
Yes.
before. To have it there, ready to go. It makes it less, my son's having McDonald's, and I'm like, I'm not going to eat it as much if I have my stuff already prepared. If it's not, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll have some chicken nuggets, I'll have some,
Yeah.
but to have it prepped like that is the best thing. And you can make it a few days in advance. I'm
Yeah.
fresh into my chicken and my cold cuts, but I do it the night before. I do.
Yep.
That's one good thing. I may not eat breakfast, but I'll eat that for lunch.
Yeah, and that's key, because when
Yeah.
you find yourself in a rut, you're gonna always go, to the fastest thing, which is fast food or candy bars or whatever.
And last night I went to Brazilian Steakhouse, and I just got the chicken, and I had the salad bar, but I took home the chicken, the protein, and that was my lunch today. I like doing that. Eat little increments. And I know a lot of people talk about, well, the med spa, isn't that the solution? Can I lose weight doing that? And I'm sure you can, and we're going to talk about some med spa solutions next. But you also have to use that in conjunction. I would assume with the whole process. It's not a miracle cure, right? Let's just be honest. Okay.
Right, 100%. And that's what we always like to sit down and have. When we do a consultation, it is a full consultation. We draw labs, we look at everything. And so part of what makes the medically managed weight loss program for us unique is we do a comprehensive lab panel where we're looking at metabolic markers. So we're looking at what is your, do you have insulin resistance? Do you have fatty liver, which will tell us, like in the past, what's your diet like? What are the things that we need to improve on? We look at protein levels. Yeah, thyroid. We look at your lipid panel to make sure where's cholesterol. We look at inflammation markers. So do you have a lot of inflammation, and where's this inflammation coming from? We look at all of your vitamins to see, do you have any vitamin deficiencies? Hormones, are they optimally functioning? Is your thyroid, is that optimally functioning? Because all of that plays a role in weight gain, but also weight loss. And so everything needs to be working succinctly in order for you to hit those goals.
Okay. And then also, just, reading your notes here, because I do have notes. I want to know, you mentioned, you're also partnering with a nutritionist, you said, right? So ongoing nutritional goals, let alone, the things that are going on at the med spa. I would like to hear some more about the treatments and services that you have in your programs, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so yes, thank you for mentioning that. We do have a nutritionist that we partner with. She works actually at a gym, but her main thing is nutrition, and she works specifically with females who are perimenopause and menopausal, to help them kind of modify their diet and lifestyles of trying to find workouts that are going to work the best for where they are at in their time of life to help them meet their weight loss goals. So that's been a really nice partnership where she refers her patients to us and we refer our patients to her. As far as things that we offer in the spa to use in conjunction to weight loss. So we have our weight loss medications that we use, the weight loss injections, the GLP-1s, which are semaglutide and tirzepatide. We also have some oral options, which are Contrave, phentermine, and then we work with a compounding pharmacist who has her own specific weight loss medications. So if we have people who have some insulin resistance, we have her compound specific medications for them that will work to help them reach their weight loss goals. For people who are looking to lose, maybe just 5 or 10 pounds, we have some supplements that we use that will naturally boost our GLP-1 production, which helps with sugar cravings and it helps you feel full faster without having to be on specific medications. They work like a probiotic and a prebiotic. And then we have aesthetic.
Hot shots.
Yep, we have hot shots, which are vitamin B12 mixed with MIC, and MIC is just some amino acids that help with fat burning and a little boost of energy, kind of speeds up metabolism. We have peptides that we can use that are growth hormone releasing peptides. And so those are nice because they work with fat burning and muscle building. So of course, the more lean muscle mass you have, the higher your metabolism is and the more you burn throughout the day. And so those are things that we kind of focus on. And then aesthetic wise, we have for people who are, within 5 or 10 pounds of their weight loss goals, and they have little pockets of fat that they're concerned about that didn't go away through diet and exercise, we can use Kybella off label to go after those little fat pockets. So like bra fat, belly fat pockets within your thighs for like sculpting. We have a machine called a Magisculpt, and that's kind of our newest aesthetic treatment that we have, which is a really unique equipment. It uses radio frequency, which heats up the subcutaneous fat, and heating up the subcutaneous fat actually breaks down the cell around it, and your immune system comes in and kind of gobbles up the fat cells. So you get fat reduction that way, but then it also does supraventricular contractions. So it's contracting the muscle at 100% of its capacity. So you can use it for areas like abs. So going after the fatty layer, just the thin fat over the top of your abs, it's going to contract to give you some sculpting. You can use it on your glutes. You can use it on hamstrings. You can use it on calves. You can use it on triceps, biceps. And so,
it's funny. My son started playing with this recently. Did I tell
Right?
you
The
this?
wings.
Yes, the bat wings.
Humiliated. 7, and he still does it. And I'm like, oh
Well,
gosh.
and as you lose, you lose fat, you start to see that laxicity in your skin. You start to lose the tone and texture. So those are all the things that we can do once you're really close to that weight loss goal. And we package things together along with our weight loss, where after doing, weight loss for 3 to 6 months, we throw in some Magisculpt treatments for a treatment area of your choice.
Got it. All right. Well, we are almost out of time with our last 2 minutes. Quick, what about tackling some challenges, and of course, how you can help us maintain, reaching that goal by, maintaining their progress to do this and to really make this change for the new year.
Yeah, so I think that's where, signing up for a medically managed weight loss program comes to play, because you have us here to help guide you and keep motivating you throughout the whole process. I always tell patients when they come in, it sounds very overwhelming at first, especially when it's us asking you to do things that you're not used to doing. But once you come in 4 weeks and you start to see the numbers on the scale change and your clothes are fitting differently, your motivation totally starts to come up. And so when you once weren't motivated to go to the gym, when you start feeling good and looking good, you're like, I'm going to go to the gym now. I'm going to start implementing all of these changes. And we're here to be your biggest cheerleaders. And so to help you along the way and make it a big deal, when you come in and you're down 4 pounds in 4 weeks, that's a huge deal. And we're going to celebrate it and help you understand, like, that's a big deal. You put in those changes, and without somebody there without somebody to motivate you and keep you going throughout the process, that's a hard thing to do on your own.
Yeah. Well, thank you, ladies, for being here. Remind us how we can reach out to you, please.
So you can find us through we've got Instagram, Facebook, and our website is www.simplyblissmedspa.com. Our phone number is in Omaha, Nebraska. It's 402-502-9868. And then our Instagram page is just Simply Bliss Med Spa.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you guys here, and very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and hopefully, are we back again next week or the week after?
Week after.
All right, good. Well, looking forward to it and to find out more about this New Year's resolutions and journey. And I know you obviously will be helping people, so many of them out there on this journey. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.